everyone, I'm here to show you how to make a booklet. So I took one of my reading passages. This one was the Orca's Reading Passage, and I selected the pages I wanted to print on Adobe Acrobat and selected it to print as a booklet. I do have a video that shows how to do those steps on the computer, so I'll put a link in the comments and you can see that. And so now I have my printed pages. And you will see that they have printed so that they're in the order that I want them. So when you are selecting your pages, make sure you put them in the order you want them printed. So this is my cover if I fold it, and then I've got pages. I'll show you when I staple it, and then this is my back piece. So I'm going to fold it in half. And one thing I did, this is not in the video, I printed this out so many times because it wasn't, like parts were getting cut off. So I changed it under page attributes. Instead of printing at 100%, I printed at 97%. And you can see I probably could have printed at like 98, 99%. But if you're having trouble with the margins being cut off, go to the page attributes on Adobe Acrobat and change it to a smaller percentage, and then you won't have it cut off. See, even here, this line got cut off for some reason. It's just one line. I'm not going to print it again. Okay, so now that I have it folded, I am going to staple it. I like to staple it because you know it's going to get lost by some students if it's not stapled. So I have my giant stapler. You probably have it in your workroom, but I recommend just buying your own. It wasn't too much, I think about $20. And it's so nice to just have it for your own use. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 staples in it along that crease I made. There we go, and there we go. Okay, so now I have a booklet that I can give to my students. And you can see this front page has a picture and then some boxes you can fill in just by looking at the picture and using background knowledge. I find that this helps the kids get ready to read. You're activating all of that schema that they have. So in my class we would do this together. And then the next page is a reading passage. I try to differentiate all of my reading passages. So this is the most difficult version of the Orcas. I have 2 other versions that are easier to read. And then this one, I found this diagram of an orca, and so I thought, well, that would be fun to use in the reading passage. And so the students use the words in the diagram to complete the sentences. And then the next page, and you don't have to do them in the same order that I did. You can do it in whatever order you make sense. Maybe you want the questions right next to the reading passage, so it's easier for the kids to do that. Then I also, so I always include questions to answer, and I always try to include a graphic organizer. So this one is main idea and key details about the orca. And then I have a question and answers part. I probably would put this near the front if I were to print it out again. So kids write down any questions they have about orcas, and then as they read, they can write the answers in. They might not find the answers while they read, and that's okay. They can either just leave the question unanswered or go and research and find the answer. Because we want kids to be curious while they're reading. Okay, and then here I have vocabulary. I always include vocabulary. You'll notice that the words are already defined here. I do it both ways. So I give you a blank vocabulary sheet and a vocabulary sheet with the answers already in it. I do this because not all of these vocabulary words are defined in the reading passage, and I want you to have a choice of if kids need to look them up or just have them provided so that they can make sense of the reading passage as they're reading it. I would probably give most of my students the provided vocabulary, and then my high achievers, I would give the blank one. But it's up to you, and it's up to you how long you want to spend doing it. If I was going to stretch this out to 2 weeks, then I would give every kid the blank vocabulary, and we would do that before we looked at the reading passage. So it's up to you. And then the last page I always try to include is a writing plan, so that we're taking our reading and turning it into writing. And so you can see here my big idea about orcas, so they can decide what they want to tell you about orcas. And then they need to have 3 topics underneath that big idea. And then they have their spot for their 3 examples or pieces of evidence under each topic. And then their how I will introduce and how I will conclude my topic. So this writing plan can very easily become an essay if you choose to go that way. All right, so that's how I make the booklet, and that's information on the Orca booklet. I have Pioneers completed. Blackbeard the Pirate is just about done, ready to come out. And I am going through and revamping all of my reading passages in my store and adding more using this format. It's designed for you to use for a week. And what I like about that is you have all of your reading instruction done for a week with this package, which makes planning easier for you, definitely. And kids get to dive in and spend a lot of time thinking about a new subject. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.